Thanks to K-pop, K-drama, K-beauty, and so many other reasons, Korea has become one of the popular countries that foreigners want to move to. I'm Korean. I was born and raised in Korea my whole life. I grew up in Korea, but I've been living abroad for the past 10 years now. Even though I am Korean, when I came back to Korea, when I was working in Korea, I still experienced some sort of culture shocks, even though I'm Korean. So now after living in many different countries, including South Korea, Sweden, Singapore, the Netherlands, and Canada, now I have a better understanding of possible culture shocks that foreigners can experience when they first move to Korea. So if you're interested in moving to Korea, specifically working in Korea, this video is a must watch. Because in today's video, I'm going to share with you what it's like to live in Korea. And hopefully this video is going to help you adapt to Korean culture faster. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome to my channel and thanks for hopping by. My name is Lucy, and on this channel, I share with you my experiences of living abroad and also sharing with you some tips and tricks on finding a job abroad and fully remote job so that you can create a life that you always dreamed of in a place where you feel the happiest. So if this resonates with you, make sure to subscribe to this channel so that you won't miss any informative video which can potentially help you achieve your dream abroad. So in today's video, I'm going to share with you 5 things you should know before working in Korea. I'm going to specifically talk about workplace culture in Korea. I'm super excited about today's video, so let's dive in. Okay, first thing that I want to talk about is a fast-paced work environment. So depending on where you're from and where you grew up, working in Korea could be more fast-paced for you or not, but it is true that Korea has a very fast-paced work environment. Koreans are very used to getting things done super fast. We are very used to this fast-paced work environment. So for example, when you work with clients in Korea, the turnaround time is usually fast. It could be by the end of the day, or it could be in a day or 2 days. And this could also mean that sometimes you might need to work overtime to get things done sadly, but not always. Every company is a little bit different, and depending on the industry where you're working in, depending on the clients that you're working with, depending on your company culture, it might look slightly different. However, your clients or your colleagues might expect you to get your job done fast. But it can be a good thing if you are on the client side, right? So if you're working with companies in Korea, if you need something super urgently, they usually try their best to get things done fast, even if it requires them to work overtime. And the second thing that I want to talk about is a group lunch. When you're working in Korea, you might need to expect to go for lunch with your colleagues almost every day. There are definitely pros and cons to this. And before I moved abroad, I just had no idea that people don't go for lunch all together. I just had no idea about that because in Korea, it's very normal for you to go lunch with your team members. Also, usually the lunch hour is between 11:30 to 1 p.m. Usually, most likely, you all go for lunch all together. And after lunch, you all go to a cafe to have a coffee or desserts. Or sometimes you all together go for a walk as well. It's very normal in Korea. And of course, you have a choice not to go with your team members for lunch because imagine having lunch every single day with your team members can be a lot sometimes. Sometimes you just want to spend your time alone. Sometimes you just want to have lunch at your desk. Sometimes you just want to go for a yoga class during the lunch hour, right? Sometimes you just want to run errands. You can definitely do that. But if you never go for lunch with your colleagues, people might think that you don't enjoy spending time with them. I know, it's a cultural difference because having lunch in Korea is a great way to get to know each other. Usually we talk about our personal lives. It's a great way to have a strong relationship with your colleagues as well. So when you're working in Korea, this is something that you can expect. And also in terms of remote work, most Korean companies require you to come to the office almost every day. Maybe once a week you can work from home. But if you're working in Korean companies, you are required to come to the office every single day. If you're working in big MNCs in Korea, like Amazon Web Services, usually they allow you to work from home because that's just like global policy. But if you're working in Korean companies, most likely you are required to come to the office every day. And next, I want to talk about hierarchy. You might heard about this as well, but this might slightly different depending on the types of companies, which I'm going to talk a little bit more in my next video. So definitely stay tuned for that. But what I will say though is even though you're working in startups or MNCs or global companies, still there is a hierarchy. Maybe the level of hierarchy might be a little bit different, but there is a hierarchy. We do try to adopt this flat culture in Korea. Some companies do actually have a flat culture too, but comparing to other countries like the Netherlands and even Singapore as well, Korea definitely has a more hierarchy system in workplaces. And in Korea, you don't usually call someone by name. For example, you don't call me just Lucy. You always add someone's job title followed by someone's name. So for example, if I'm a team manager, people will call me Lucy, team manager. Of course, team manager is going to be translated into Korean, but usually people will call me Lucy, team manager, or Lucy, director, or Lucy, senior manager, or something like that. We call someone with their job title. I think that's probably one of the reasons why when we talk to someone who is senior than us, we subconsciously think that we have to respect their opinions. We have to obey this person's opinions and something like that. And also, many companies nowadays try to remove this job title thing. Some companies do have the same job title for everybody so that everyone is equal in a way, like job title wise. But still, I would say comparing to other countries, we do have a hierarchy system. Okay, the next thing that I want to talk about is reading between the lines. This is an interesting one. Generally speaking, Koreans are not direct. We are more indirect, especially in workplaces. Even if we don't agree with someone or on certain opinions or ideas, we usually don't say no or don't say, I disagree with you. We rarely say that. But of course, there are people in Korea who's definitely more direct or even more indirect as well. But generally speaking, when I compare to other countries, Koreans are more indirect in workplaces. Even if I don't agree with someone's ideas, we try to warm up that situation a little bit and then we deliver our opinion in a more gentle way. And last but not least, I want to talk about being humble. In Korea, we value being humble. We don't appreciate when someone is showing off too much, when someone is bragging about their achievements so much. It's just a culture thing, which I struggled a lot when I was working abroad because in our culture, we're raised in a way that we need to be always humble. We shouldn't show off and yada, yada, yada. But then when I was working abroad, if I don't promote myself, if I don't share with people my achievements, people just don't know, right? So in my opinion, it should be balanced. Being humble is really good. It should be something that should be valued, of course. But at the same time, in my opinion, we need to be able to promote ourselves as well, especially workplaces. And of course, which country we work in, being humble is important. But in terms of the level, I would say Korea definitely people appreciate more if someone is humble. So yeah, this is an interesting one. So when you're working in Korea, keep in mind that being humble is valued in Korea. But of course, I also think that after working in different countries, I realized that being able to promote ourselves in a humble way is a skill, and that is very important. So these are the 5 things that I recommend knowing before moving to Korea and working in Korea. Thank you so much for watching today's video. In my next video, I'm going to talk about how to find a job in Korea as a foreigner, which companies hire talent overseas, and if you don't speak Korean, what kind of jobs are available for you. If you're interested in working in Korea, definitely stay tuned for the video. Yeah, this is it. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend and an amazing week ahead, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!